Now I ask you, my fellow Americans, haven't you ever wanted to put your foot through your television screen?
Why do you own a semi-automatic?
They're fun to shoot.
What would you do if somebody tried to take it away from you and they passed a law?
Probably kill them.
Do you think that's a good solution?
It's a good start.
Standard joke. Let me see that. Get these lights properly.
Yes, sir.
My eyes always have. You'll find if you get past 60, that's enough. Thanks. My friend Ollie always wants to take a lot of pictures. I'm afraid he'll catch me picking my nose. Good evening. This is the 37th time I have spoken to you from this office, where so many decisions have been made that shape the history of this nation. I have never been a quitter. To leave office before my term is completed is abhorrent to every instinct in my body. But as president, I must put the interests of America first. Therefore, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow. Vice President Ford will be sworn in as president at that hour in this office.
The revolution wasn't televised in the 60s. Is it going to be televised in the 90s?
Well, you know, the catchphrase, what that was all about, the revolution will not be televised, that was about the fact that the first change that takes place is in your mind. You have to change your mind before you change the way you live and the way you move. So when we said that the revolution will not be televised, we were saying that, like, that the thing that's going to change people is something that no one will ever be able to capture on film. It'll just be something that you see, and all of a sudden you realize, I'm on the wrong page, or I'm on the right page, but I'm on the wrong note. And I've got to get in sync with everyone else to understand what's happening in this country. But I think that the black Americans have been the only real die-hard Americans here, because we're the only ones who've carried the process through the process. That everyone else has to sort of like skip stages. We're the ones who marched, we're the ones who carried the Bible, we're the ones who carried the flag, we're the ones who tried to go through the courts. And being born American didn't seem to matter, because we were born Americans, but we still had to fight for what we were looking for. And we still had to go through those channels and those processes.
Because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised.
We might not get them today, but we're going to get them. And be sure of that. We're going to get them.
Look at this. Well, they lied to me again as usual.
I must have been a nice fight, though, you know. Smack him in the head with a beer bottle. That's bullshit. You want to see a good shot? Look at this. Next week, I'm going to put Jews underneath it.
I'm asking you, where's your car? I'm not going to Philadelphia. I'm just going to Chicago.
What the hell is this?
Why, is he talking now?
Of course he's talking. Can you please get out of here?
What are you talking about? Don't mess with my game.
I can wave the American flag. God bless America. We stand for the liberty and freedom for all, races, creeds, and colors.
All right, that's good enough. But if it
And a dark texture skin.
no, I don't want you to call me dark texture anymore. You call me.
Well, if I get a good tan, I'll have a hell of a nice tan, won't I?
You don't call me African. Don't call me no dark.
No, I'm not going to call you African
Shit,
American.
don't call me no dark texture, man.
African American.
African American.
African
I'm
American.
telling you how to call me.
It's a pseudo statement.
No, you call
It's a
me what I
pseudo
want to be called.
Oh, okay.
Just like I'll call you what you want to be called.
Call me baby doll.
I'll call you baby doll. I don't mind that at all.
You never get a chance to do what all the while we were our young age, like most of the young little white kids, they grow up, their mother can send them to school, or they can take up gymnastics, use all the apparatus, or go to swimming, so they can take up ballet. They can have something to do. They have money to do that. We don't have money to do that. That's why, we can do the stuff that they do. They do it a little bit better because they have more training, better training, more practice, more equipment, just a little bit more than what we had. And we had what they had, we'd be equal.
What kind of salary do you start at when you start working?
Well, they started me at $7 an hour, raised annually, according on your work. What do they feel you worth?
And what do you take home from that?
About $200 a week, which is good for me, But right now I need some benefits,
What do you mean?
Benefits like insurance, medical benefits,
You don't get that?
No, because basically I'm 32 hours part-time. So you got to be full-time in order to get benefits. I used to get high with the fellas, drink on the corners and smoke bud and just be hanging out with the fellas, But I had to leave that alone too, along with them. I had to leave all that shit behind, I go to meetings, therapists, It wasn't as easy to just walk away from the friends and the drugs, and the lifestyle, But I can hear my mother's voice sometime, telling me what to do, Good and bad fighting on the inside of you, So that's wrong, boy. You shouldn't be doing that. But now it's like she happy now, I think she'll be proud of me today.
You want me to pour some?
Now, what's wrong with those?
Nothing.
Why'd you pull them?
You asked me to.
No, man, I want you to do your job. That's what
Those are good sheets.
What's the best part of your work?
Best part?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have no best part, just sitting here. Yeah.
I guess it must get a little boring.
I do.
How do you do it?
How do I do it?
Yeah.
When I get bored, I stand up.
The important thing's got to be that you implant an idea out there and everybody, in a very human way, understands it, grasps it, and is excited by it. If that end result doesn't happen, I don't care how beautiful I think something is or how exciting the language is. If people don't react, I struck out. Boy, did I strike out.
That's really power, though, isn't it?
Power? Oh, I guess, sure. Oh, the feeling that you can come up with something, throw it out there. You know, you just take it, and just boom, boom, like poison gas, boom. And people got it. That's sensational. Oh, yeah, that's great. You're a kid? Yeah, sure,
Got a dog, got a crow, got a corn on my toe, yippee-yi-yo. Got a dog, got a crow, got a corn on my toe, yippee-yi-yo. Got a dog and a sled in the snow, yippee-yi-yo. Hidey-hi, hidey-ho, got a boat on a row, yippee-yi-yo. Wagon ho.
What I am doing is I'm putting your feet in these ankle straps. These are your life saver.
So how do you know they're on tight enough?
If your shoes turn blue from the cutoff of circulation, then they're tight enough.
They gotta be real tight.
Otherwise, your guess is as good as mine.
Woo, that's tight.
You're working
fine. Am I up?
Yep, you're up.
All right, Pat.
Okay, you're gonna take care of me?
I'm going to take real good care of it. Are you going to get wet?
No, I can't.
You're not going to get wet? Okay.
I can't get
We'll do the best we can for you. You been away with that thing?
Glasses, right? Am I taking these off?
Glasses off, yeah.
I got that. Fine.
Just stand over in the corner.
You put that camera in your hand?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
But let's be extra sure, because I can't get wet with it. So, have you been doing this a long time?
Yeah, I sure have. Been doing it a good 4 years.
Yeah. So, I'm getting a little nervous now. What do you tell people? It's not that dangerous, is it?
You're going to be just fine.
All right.
Ground operations completed?
Almost. Now they are. Bye, Pat! Bye, Pat!
Okay, I'm thinking I want to jump backwards.
You want to jump backwards?
Yeah. How is that?
We'll run through it with you in just a second. If you just hang on there while I do the safety checks.
Okay.
Enjoy the view.
Pardon?
Enjoy the view. Take your camera shots.
How high up are we?
We're 125 feet.
Whew. So how fast are you going by the time?
You only do it about 30 miles an hour, I guess.
Really?
Okay. Now, listen to me. You're going to go out backwards and you're going out in the direction of those silos out there, okay? Now when you go out, I want you to hang your heels over the edge, brace yourself on these handrails here.
Okay.
I'll give you a countdown, 3, 2, 1, bungee, and I want you to really leap over backwards in a swan dive, okay? Arms out wide, and really throw yourself over.
Okay.
All right, got that?
So, should I keep the camera away from me when I
Keep
jump?
the camera well away from your face, otherwise you're going to do yourself an injury, okay?
Okay.
So keep it well out at arm's length.
Let's see, I keep it out, but I want to point it down.
Oh, just point it in general direction. Like keep it well away from your face. Okay?
Okay.
Righto, well let's do it.
Let's do it.
Just stand back a bit there. Good man. Okay, now swing your left foot over the cord. Left foot over the cord. That's the story.
So I'm going to stay dry, huh?
You're going to stay dry, you should do. Okay, now just keep that away from your head,
and I
okay?
throw it back, right?
You're just going straight over backwards. Really jump out. Okay? Here we go! 3, 2, 1, bungee!
I'm good now.
Put your chin to your chest, please. Seriously. There you go.
pause button on. Damn.
Oh, you had the pause button on?
1928 when I started. I went uptown to get a loaf of bread for my sister. The passenger train come by and I just reached up and grabbed it.
Out here I'm a man at least. I know I can handle whatever comes down, you know. If I can't, I go down, that's all. You know where I'm coming from? Yeah.
Romanticism drives you on the road. I mean, you have that image of yourself as a hobo and connected to a great romantic spirit of America. Romanticism is also the same thing that drives people to suicide eventually. Mm-hmm. And that's nothing any good. You get in real trouble with romanticism.
9 years later, she taps me on the shoulder in Seattle and wanted to know where in the hell her goddamn loaf of bread was. I says, I'm going to get it now for you. You ain't going to get nothing from me no more, she says. You just come on home now. Well, you know, that loaf of bread never got home.
Well, the situation is this. The man was on a L train, and passengers aboard the train saw him. They didn't know if he was sick or intoxicated or what. They took him off the L train, southbound L train, at the Washington stop and set him down on the platform. Now, other people then notified police, and the subway detail found him from the Special Operations Group. Now, the people that took him off got back on the train and went their way. So anyway, somebody called police, and the Special Operations Group, the Lincoln detail, came down the L. And they have since notified homicide and the crime lab. There is no visible signs of death. There's no violent signs of death. So it could be a heart attack, it could be a natural, it could be a overdose, drug overdose, or heroin, or who knows what. But the man's about 25 to 40, fully clothed, and dead.
Take your crack, you put it in this top piece right here, and you burn it. And most people's pleasure is seeing the clouds, and after that's gone, that's your high. There is no more.
Attention users and abusers.
Down and out losers.
Stop chasing that cloud that never fails to elude ya.
Spending that money like it's
Minute Maid, you get stupid charged on a whole week's pay.
Feels like you're on cloud 9. You got to get another one.
Your stem steady burning.
Cause the fire stays hot.
It's like 24/7.
You're at the crack spot.
It takes you out of the world, you know, like when you feel confused and you feel alone and you feel a lot of pressure and everything. It's like you go and you take a hit.
You think you're chilling.
When you're ill and moving 80 miles an hour.
You can't slow down.
Got no willpower.
It's like once you start getting high, you really don't think about tomorrow or the next day. You know, the next day you just think about, you know, how to get another hit. Join the party. Are you getting all of this?
How do you feel now? All right.
Five seconds ago, I was real tired. Right now, I got energy. I can get up from here now and walk to the moon. Okay? I can get up and walk to the moon. All right? I'm good now. I'm good to go. The reason why I'm doing this interview is because number one is I'm tired of this place, Manhattan. I'm sick of these people around here. And I'm leaving right now. I'm out of here. Okay? I'm going back to where I came from. If anybody see this tape and you know me, you know I tried, you know where I came from. You know what I used to be. And I'm gonna get it again.
Why do you do it?
The first time I did it was because I wanted to hang out with some girls. You know, and I found out that if you give the majority of females out here, you give them a little crumb, let me say,
Now watch
for
it.
instance,
Watch it.
something that looked like that. You got a shot of that? You can do damn near anything you want to them. Okay? Okay? That's number one. And number two is I never felt anything like it before. I'm in my own world. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not scared to say it. I ain't had sex with a woman in at least 3 months because I'm too busy chasing cracks. I haven't had an erection in 3 months because I'm too busy chasing crack. I done got to the point where I don't even care about women. I don't care about men. I don't care about nobody but me getting another hit. I've been up 3 days now. Can you tell? I've been up 3 days. And in 3 days, if you count down the mileage that I've walked from here to at least the White House, which looked like a big rock on a hill. All right? That's about how far I walked. Right? In the last couple of days, I went through in cash, maybe 2,000. Where I get it from, who knows? It just comes.
Inasmuch as it has pleased Almighty God to take out of the world the soul of this, our deceased son, we therefore commit his body to the ground. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Looking forward to the general resurrection, when the dead in Christ shall rise first. Those of us that are alive and remain shall be caught up together to meet him in the air. And therefore, we shall forever be with the Lord. All of you children that are standing here, looking down, take a good look, and I want you to say within your hearts that you'll never end up like Robert. Okay? Cry if you will. But make up your mind that you will never let your life end in tragedy like this. Okay, come on. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Come on.
We learned to live together because we were all under the same microscope.
I think when you're in high school, you just want to fit in, and this is something that really made you stand out.
You were forced to grow up far too quickly, and you were denied a normal high school life.
There's this thing that happened here that some people don't talk about, and for them it's history.
Anyone who decided to walk back in this school had to face, day after day, what they had experienced on the 20th.
I don't really want to go back to this, but being back here, it kind of, I can feel a little sense of relief.
I've told this story a million times, but never in the room that I was in.
It's crazy to think back on, just this is where it all happened for me. I mean, this was my Columbine.
All I think of high school is the Columbine High School shootings, and after that, and that's my high school experience.
It was a loss, like we lost our innocence, or it forced us to grow up.
When did it get back to normal? And I said it never did. We had to redefine what normal is.
Everything was watched, and everything was just kind of like, we were like a petri dish for the world, and they were just like testing us.
I didn't do any interviews because I refused to do them. I just wanted to go to school.
For a long time, it was like, oh, you're from Colorado. Do you know anyone from Littleton?
Anybody that saw your shirt or knew that you went there. And the question was always, oh my God, were you there?
We understood what each other went through and that none of us really wanted to be asked these questions.
We can't do this on our own. But if we do it together, we can get through this.
Watch out!
Here comes wired in. I'm out of here.
Well, you know, you and Johnny Morris have been elected the co-Chevrolet Offensive Players of the Game today, and with that goes a $1,000 grant and a new pair of shoes to both of you.
I take the shoes and give the grant to somebody, and I don't need a Chevrolet. I always drive Pontiacs.
Well, we'll make it the Pontiac Player of the Game,
Okay,
Johnny, if that'll make any difference
that
to
makes
you.
me a lot happier.
Pontiac. Why do you go with the Pontiac? Just out of
I like the
curiosity.
Indian on the hood ornament.
Well, you like big car comfort, too.
Yeah, right. Luxury.
You've come a long way since being a late draft choice out of, and you've been to the top and back. Is this
Really about 2,400 miles is all.
2,400 miles? You've got all the records for passing. Is this?
No, Fran Tarkenton has those.
He's got them all.
Yeah, he'll set all of
But
them
in
before
our
he's
minds,
finished.
and I think in most of the minds of the people here in Miami Beach, you're the #1 quarterback of all time.
Well, it's taken a lot of money to get people to think that way.
If you had to marry a football player, which one would you like to marry?
That's a sexist kind of question, isn't it? I'm not sure if I like that.
Get in here.
You're paying for my manicure if I break
Which
my
team is she
nails.
with? No, this team. Our team. The red team. Wait a minute. Give me the glasses. Sonny's gonna lob the ball. watch.
Right in here.
This.
Look out!
O'Neal is dangerous.
O'Neal is me.
You got a first down for us, Gal. You got hit.
That was a hell of a move.
He had an incredible rookie season in 1976. His record was 19-9. His ERA was a league-leading .234. He filled up the park for the fifth-place Tigers. He was baseball's biggest draw. He told us about his first day as a rookie in the minor leagues.
Manager looks at me and goes, "What's wrong, man?" I said, "You said pitch is over there, I pitch. You said infield is over there, I play shortstop. You said catch is over there, I don't go there because I've only caught once. And outfielders are over there, and I play the outfield if I don't pitch. And I play, I play other positions." He goes, "Oh, God, what do we got here?" And he goes, and Joe Moore, and the guy was from Massachusetts, too, the manager, Joe Lewis. And he just says, "Oh, you're from Mass, right, Mark?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "What'd they sign you up as?" I said, what's your contract say on the bottom line?" It said pitcher, but my scout told me to tell you that I play other positions because when he signed me, he saw me playing left field. He saw me come in and throw to one batter. That was it. The scout saw me throw to one batter. And, he even told me, he goes, "You're a pitcher. Get over there, will you?" Forget infield, forget outfield. You no longer do that anymore. This is a different kind of baseball. It's you're a pitcher and that's it. So that's when I became a full-fledged pitcher.
Fidrett started the All-Star game in 1976. The fans loved him. They called him Bird after Sesame Street's Big Bird. They loved his style, the way he'd talk to the baseball, or fill up the hole on the pitcher's mound.
People thought I was strange. I didn't think anything of it until people started saying, "Hey, you know what you're doing out there?" "Yeah, I'm pitching." "Oh, before you pitch?" I mean, yeah, filling up the hole. I don't like it. You want me to get the ground crew out here every time? I mean, stop the game, ground crew, fix the mound, I mean, because eventually then I wear into my own hole. You know what I'm saying? And it was a thing of, why go into someone else's hole? That's the way he pitches. Pitch the way you pitch, and if he wants to go in your hole, let him. So I just always filled it up.
Live from Medina Temple in Chicago, the Bozo 25th Anniversary Special is on the air. Ringmaster Ned, that's me, and the cast of Sound.
Part of the attitude, really. I'm a friendly guy in person, I'd like to think, but as far as it goes with bike messengering, There is a level of aggression that you have to hold yourself by. Burton and Terrace said we're just a bunch of arrogant and dangerous people. And I guess the trick word there is arrogant. If you're not arrogant out there doing this, then you're in trouble, and you're very likely going to get hurt more often than a lot of others. So it's important to be a little arrogant, but I mean also be sound. So we do this in San Francisco. We'd anchor onto cars or cable cars. More often than not, cable cars to get up the hill. Go ahead. Yep, go ahead. Go ahead, go ahead. There we go. Of course, Whacker is unforgivably bumpy. And then I'd say, thanks for the ride, lady. Nope, nope, don't get that on. I'm all right, man. You surprised me in there.
Do you think that it's possible to be a first lady and not be politically involved with your husband's work?
When I first started campaigning, the first speech I ever made, I went down to Florida, and somebody put, and I was scared to death because I never done anything, and I had already made up everything I was going to say, and the first thing he did was put a tape recorder in front of me and say, Mrs. Carter, I want you to speak for about 15 minutes, just that there are millions of people out there listening to you, but don't say anything political. I said, I'm just political. I don't know how you get away from that. I don't know how you could possibly separate the two. I've been involved with Jimmy for so long, and I think about all kinds of political considerations. In fact, I was the one that kept saying, thinking about the political considerations when Jimmy was trying to decide on the vice president. And he said, they're all good men. You've got to forget that. I want the best one to lead the country. And I'll say, but don't we want one that'll help us win the election? He says, they're all good men. They'll all help the best one to lead the country. And he really did try not to put that kind of political considerations into his decision.
And he wondered what it would be like to be president. And he said to himself, I have always wanted to be president. And I have always wondered why I could not be president. And whether I could be president, whether perhaps someday I could wake up and I could get out of bed and I could walk out the door and the faces would greet me and I would understand that I was the president and that I would control the lives and the empty faces and that I would say the words to the people in the empty chairs who wanted to hear and understand what it meant to have power, to have the power over people's lives, to control the power of the Democratic Party, power of the Republican Party, the power of the money that was unseen, that was passing hands in hotel suites high above streets, and that this man who wanted to be president had become president, and that he lay in bed at night and he wondered if he should touch his wife. He wondered if it was proper for a president to touch his wife. He wondered if he should play with himself. He had played with himself once or twice when he was governor, and he wondered if it was possible when he became president, if he could play with himself again, or if he would lose that ability, if he could no longer be president, if he was not president, if there was no president, if the time that had been taken and the people with the empty faces and the empty chairs had taken the time to affirm for him that they believed in him and that he believed in them and that it was all red, white, and blue, that it was all sex, that it was all sex, that the feeling as he stood and faced them, that he understood them and that they loved him, that they would make him their president, that he would take care of them and give them everything that they wanted, and they would clap and they would cheer, and the ones who said that they didn't like him would be not listened to. They would be no longer understood, because it was impossible for anyone to understand how someone could not like some person who had wanted to be president and who became president and who lived and died as an American in the red, white, and blue world that he had confirmed for himself and had predicted would come true. And it came true. And it came true.
I am angry when I see a bunch of high-priced lobbyists come in to manipulate and break the law and break the spirit of free trade.
But aren't you a high-priced politician who perpetuates this system?
I am not a high-priced politician who perpetuates. I stand up and fight for what I think is right, and if I see something that's an abuse, I'm going to stand up and do it. And where the hell you get the nerve of calling me a high-priced politician? Aren't you a high-priced news commentator who changes things around and reports them the way you want? Now, let me tell you, you think I'm going to take that nonsense from you?
Aren't you a little sensitive about...
Darn right, I'm sensitive for a jackass who comes over here and says, am I a high-priced politician?
Come on, don't you think politicians should be civil service?
Yeah, I believe in civil service, and civil service is standing up for all of our people and calling them the way I see them, and that's what I do.
You're rude and you make too much money.
You're a jackass.
Thanks.
Richard J. Daley. Even the name is larger than life. He was loved and feared. He was powerful, ambitious, hard-working and brilliant, strong, honest, loyal, diligent and clean. But Daley was no Boy Scout. He was the most important man in Chicago in the 20th century, maybe ever. He never had to pretend he was in charge. He just was. He was almost always in control. On December 20th, 1976, he had a heart attack.
A team of medics and doctors worked for more than an hour trying drugs and electric shock to revive the mayor's heart. Their efforts failed, and the mayor was pronounced dead at 3:40 this afternoon. His body was taken to McKeon Funeral Home on the south side, and a private burial service is scheduled for Wednesday.
He lived his whole life in the same block in Bridgeport. He was the only child of Michael and Lillian Daley. He was a sheet metal worker and union organizer. She marched in the streets of Chicago to earn women the right to vote. Richard Joseph Daley was involved in the Catholic Church almost every day of his life. He went to the Nativity Grade School and De La Salle High, and he graduated from Knight Law School at DePaul. In 1936, he and Eleanor Sis Guilfoyle were married. They had 7 children, 3 girls and 4 boys. The family was always at the center of Daley's life, even on election days. Between 1938 and 1953, he was a state senator, representative, and revenue director. He was a ward committeeman, deputy county controller, county clerk, and chairman of the Democratic Party. He won his first of 6 elections for mayor in 1955.
That you will faithfully discharge the duties of mayor of the city of Chicago.
I will faithfully discharge the duties of mayor of Chicago.
According to the best of your ability.
According to the best of my ability.
We must provide the opportunity for every citizen to have decent housing. We must have slum clearance. While we are clearing the slums, we must prevent the spread of blight into the other neighborhoods.
Thus began the Daley era, and he got things done. His first goal was to make Chicago work. But what Daley did best was to bring people together, to build bridges, buildings, highways. He kept an eye on everything: garbage, potholes, police, fire. No plans were too big, no details too small. And Mayor Daley managed to stay in the center of it all. He was equally strong with labor unions and big business. He understood power and when to use it. Daley was the only mayor for a whole generation, and the feelings are still strong 10 years after his death.
I think he was a terrific politician and knew how to run a city. No matter how he did it, he made it work.
Well, it worked in its own way. It was unique, because it was structured in a manner where it was more or less a dictatorship, so to speak. But we accepted it. We kept electing him, so we have to accept it, that's all.
How are you doing?
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
I remember him more as what you might characterize as the superb practitioner of plantation politics. And things worked well under him for certain people, but not for everybody.
He said good politics is good government. With him, good government made good politics, and it worked.
I'm not interested in government.
In government?
Well, I'm interested in it as a citizen. I mean, I want a good government like everybody else, but
I don't have any expertise in government. I maybe don't have any expertise in campaigns, but at least somebody will pay me for it.
You said that the people don't decide about the election until the World Series about several months ago. You said that.
Well, yeah, a lot of them, you know, election is like, I'd like to make it akin to people get up in the morning. I mean, some people kind of, you know, farmers and stuff like that, like they get up at 4 o'clock, and then, you know, commuters sort of get up, and then people that live close in get up, and then, you know, bankers get up, and then college kids get up, and then retired people get up, you know. I mean, some of them decide earlier, and then it sort of goes on and on, but I think people are very serious about this choice, and they'll, I think they're going to keep an open mind for a long time to come.
Right back with Bill Clinton and your phone call. Stay there. Tammy, is Hartford the first call? Okay. But I want him to finish the thought here. That's the one break we have to hit live. It's an around the world break. Hard to believe we're being watched in 151 countries. It's scary. I'm in Israel. I'm at the Wailing Wall. True story. Israel. Never been there before. There with my brother. I'm Jewish. It's my culture. I'm standing there as an old rabbi, davening. He's praying. Old, a religious Jewish man. He looks up at me and he says, "What's with Perot?" I swear to God, what's with Perot? In Israel. I love it. It's crazy. Ted Turner changed the world. He's a big fan of yours. Is he? He would serve you against it. You know what I mean? I'm really surprised. He's ready. What's he got left in life to gain? After you're elected, think about it. No dope. That's for sure. Great guy to work for, too.
Let's see the front.
It says Life in News.
So is that a credo that you believe?
Well, it always happens. See, that's Life in News. That's Life in News. They always blame it on the media.
So do you think it's true?
Do I think it's true what? That everybody should blame the media, or that they do?
Oh, I see. Well, do they?
Yeah, they do.
Should they?
No.
Why not?
Well, it's like, who said it? Kirk, who said this? Lloyd Dobbins once said it on, back when he was doing the show Weekend. Some lady wrote in complaining about, they showed footage of Americans invading Grenada, and she said, "Oh, it's atrocious, and you should never show that." And so he answered the letter, he said, "Ma'am, if it hadn't have happened, we couldn't have shown it, you know. We don't make the news up, we just report the news, and people need to get a grip. They don't want to know what's going on, and so they don't want to see the ugliness. But it's out there, and we got to show it."
How much does feedback about, you know, what kind of job you're doing influence what you do? Do you get information from people that you cover about how they feel about your reporting?
That is a very good question, and I wish I knew the answer to it. I like to think it has no effect, but I wouldn't swear to that. But I think that anybody being human, it's got to have a certain effect on your news coverage and judgment when you get a lot of complaints about something, or you know, you're under pressure, public opinion pressure or something of the kind. You begin to wonder, well, am I right? Am I doing my journalistic job correctly, or are they right? All of this introspection that such things cause is not good for a journalist. I'll tell you that. It'd be much better if it didn't pay any attention to it at all. And I think we don't, but I wouldn't swear to it.
I think the press is real confused about its role now, and that's not surprising because I think a lot of people in America are confused. Business leaders are trying to figure out how to be more competitive, and they're having to undo the thinking of, you know, decades. Workers and labor leaders are trying to figure out how to save jobs but enhance productivity. I mean, we go down the line. Everybody's trying to redefine their role in a rapidly changing world, and the press is part of that redefinition. And the press right now doesn't know what it's doing in terms of its role and responsibility. It's trying very hard to work that out.
Excuse me, everybody.
There we go.
Hi, young lady.
Hi.
What's your name?
Destiny.
Destiny. What a wonderful name. Boy, are we glad to meet you. We've been looking for you for months.
Where do you live, Destiny?
Next door.
Next door?
I'm living in that house right there.
How old are you, Destiny?
8.
You're a lovely girl. I'm glad to see you.
Good to meet you, Destiny.
What's your
Thanks
name?
for saying hello to us.
Hi, I'm Hi.
Hi. What's your last name?
Hi, Destiny. What's your last name?
Sheedy.
Can you spell that for us?
C-H-E-N-E-Y.
And Destiny, how old are you?
8.
You're 8 years old. Do you like Mr. Clinton? Got it.
Yeah.
Why do you like him?
I don't know.
It's okay.
Governor, if you could walk up a bit and then slowly walk back towards us.
And then we want you to do it on rollerblades.
Could you start a little further back? Just up.
You know what he's saying? What the hell am I doing, mister? That's good.
Okay. Right. Could we try one without the back? Sure. Just a little bit.
There was no relationship between Jennifer Flowers and my husband, as she herself said repeatedly for 2 years. We felt sorry for her when she got dragged into this, and the other women who were unfairly accused. We talked to every one of them. I met with several of them. We felt that inadvertently they had been dragged into a political situation to be used in a way that we thought was terrible.
Here we are, back behind the Lanesville TV news buggy. Yes, sir, when we step out on a Saturday afternoon with the news buggy, camera in hand, microphone, all kinds of strange things are possible to happen. But as I said before, and as I'll say again, sometimes peanuts and sometimes shells. Sometimes you get nothing. But it's worth trying, you know? It's worth looking, trolling for news, we call it. Walking down the road. Hey, here comes somebody. Just passed by. Like nothing was strange, like nothing was happening. No news. Oh, that's how it is.
Now, the second piece of Lanesville news is Frankie Benjamin's accident.
Frankie Benjamin's what?
Accident.
What kind of accident?
Car accident. Well, the road was wet. The brakes locked up. He skidded the road, came over, hit the telephone pole here, up there, spun around, hit that dirt pile, and that's the way it ended. The cops was here, everybody was here, there was a lot of lights. So they towed the car down there where you see that yellow, that tan, truck down there.
So let's go take a look at the car.
And that's the way it was.
Lanesville news buggy is blocking the road. Let's pull the baby off. Howdy, Charlie. What are you building today?
What am I building?
Yeah.
Feeding the pigs.
Feeding the pigs. Where's this road go to?
Down to Big Pen.
Oh, Big Pen. How are your pigs?
Good.
They give birth this year?
No, we got all small ones.
No. I hear Junior's pigs were not pregnant when they were supposed to be.
No. Wrong kind of feed.
Wrong kind of feed?
Right. All right, looks like I'm blocking the road.
So are we.
Hi, Bart.
Howdy.
My wife says I'm pig crazy or pig nuts. She says it's as bad as wine or women, but she guess she'd rather have me be crazy about pigs than either one of the others. I started out as a 4-H club boy. My dad bought me 2 sows in 1938. I've been monkeying with them ever since. Pigs are very intelligent. I know I'm prejudiced, but they are. They'll never overeat. They'll never poison themselves. And their toilet habits are wonderful. They'll go off in one corner, and the other animals, they'll do a duty and lay right down in it. But the bond of the pigs are really what brings the people together, and I don't know whether it takes a little different personality for people to raise pigs, but they are a great bunch of people.
He's a legend, he's an institution, he's a hero, he's everybody's idol.
Your father opened the tavern, right?
1910, February. He's 75 years old in next year, 1985.
It's right before the ballpark opened then, right?
February, and they opened in July.
Mm-hmm. And your father was a friend of the old...
Oh, yes, he used to help him sweep the old ballpark clean. When it rained and they'd roll up their trousers before he had kids and sweep the old ballpark with him.
You still friends with the Comiskey family?
Oh, yes. We practically raised Charlie. He was with my niece and nephew all the time. Took him to see Santa Claus, took him to the show every Sunday. Because my mother knew Comiskey from 39th Street. Her father had a big oyster house up there at 39th and State when he had the old ballpark.
What do you remember most from those early days when the tavern was open?
Well, it was always, as long as I know it was open. But going back to the era of Babe Ruth and Joe DiMaggio, all of those fellas.
Did they come in here?
Oh, my mother cooked for all of them. They loved big roast beef and homemade bread. She did all the cooking, and they called her Mama Cutty. She was their ma.
And so after the ball games, they would come across the street here?
Before and after, and when it was a double header, the Babe would run over to have a beer and a roast beef sandwich in his uniform. That's the truth. You're laughing. It's the truth.
How about the modern day ball players?
No. I know Julio Cruz and that Pachoric.
Yeah.
Oh, I murder his name. He's a real nice fellow. He's real nice. Yes, he is. He's good. He's a good fellow.
Well, why is it that in the old days the ball players would tend to come over and have a beer and a sandwich, and today you don't think they don't come as often?
They're not allowed to come on this side of the street. They take them home in buses, and they don't want them wandering the neighborhood.
When the fans get rowdy now, how do you handle them?
I put them out. I'm the bouncer.
Well, come on now. You go up to these guys?
I do, and tell them to get out. But not nice words like that.
And they do what you say?
Of course they do. Today we open 5 or 5:30, and we'll close 11 or 11:30. That's it.
Well, what if you have a big crowd in here at 11:30?
Open the back gate and tell them to go.
Well, but Francis, you could make a lot more money if you kept them in here longer.
And I die sooner.
Nothing is any better just because it costs more. And I think that's a mistake that we've made in our society, is correlating cost with value and cost with return. And they have no correlation. And I guess you learn that because you see a ball player who gets $1 million who can't play, you know? At $100,000, he would be stealing. And the fact is you pay him $1 million doesn't make him that much better, and it doesn't mean that you've gotten that much greater return. And that's true of, well, how much money can you pay a tulip to bloom? You know? And how much more can you pay a song to hum? So I wonder what relationship money has to being happy, to enjoying your world and your life. I think very little.
If Jerry or Abby or Tom Hayden or someone like that had gone off to India and come back and said, you know, I mean, it's blowing my mind, but the Lord is on the planet, I mean, I would have thought they would have fallen out of a tree or something.
Rennie is arrogant about the future. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, that is arrogant to say. Not that there's a difference between saying you found God and saying you know his address and his, you know, you got his credit card. I mean, you got his credit card or his telex number in your pocket. You know, there's a different kind of arrogance. I do want to say one final thing, that if this guy is God, this is the God the United States of America deserves.
Will Protestants and Catholics love one another? Will Catholics and Protestants love one another? Will evangelicals and Pentecostals love one another? Just because my theology is different than yours, will you love me? Will I love you? Will we wash each other's feet? SALT. You are the salt of the earth. We need teaching, and not just any kind of teaching, but apostolic teaching.
Once when he was doing an adaptation of his own, of my book, Working, and he called it It's a Living, and he captured certain people there in manners that no one else captured them.
So when I started out, I had $2 to my name and all kinds of debts. And I didn't know beans from Shinola about waitress work, but somehow it turned out all right. There might be some who still think I do.
Oh yeah, in fact, if you give people bread immediately, and if you can't get to them, you know, quickly, but you get them the bread, and people, that's a pacifier. Otherwise adults are like children in a high chair. They get a tantrum. If you can't get to them, give them something they can put in their mouth. If you can't get to the drink, but look, bring them bread. Yeah, just bring them bread or quiet them.
Bread and a glass of water?
Yeah, right. Oh, but bread is not. Well, man does not live by bread alone, but you can start off with that.
What's the first thought comes to your mind when I say tavern, early days and now?
Well, besides booze, neighborhood. That's really what I think about it. Neighborhood people. A tavern is much more than a place where you get a drink, because you can get a drink, you can buy a pint in the liquor store and get a drink in the street corner. The neighborhood tavern, then, when I was a young guy, when I was working in my father's tavern, and in many places now, served a lot of functions. Community center, social center, political debating hall, the country club for the working guy, group therapy. Couldn't afford a shrink, so you go talk to the bartender. Find somebody in the bar who understood what his problem was. A lot of things.
Also, the bartender now and then would do some social work, too. That is, he'd fill in for a guy when he's not supposed to be at the bar, and the old lady thinks he's somewhere else.
Well,
and
you
so
didn't,
there was
you
the
didn't
question.
get much of that in the tavern, because a guy, if a guy wasn't in the bar, if his wife called my father's bar, which was unusual, but if a wife called the bar and my father said, he's not here, my God, where could he be? Then he was in serious trouble. I mean, being in the bar wasn't that bad. But he's not in the bar, where is he? Maybe with some hussy, you know? No, that rarely happened. And, you know, we had the word profit center. Today, all these a lot of modern bars are run by guys who went to hotel and restaurant training school. So everything's a profit center, you know. If they were running this place, the Planters Peanuts would be a profit center, and the Tabasco sauce. My father, we had a profit center. It was called the Bookie. That was our best profit center. And that you didn't need a computer for, you know, because you'd have to burn the computer if the cops came.
Fats is known everywhere they shoot pool. Millions have seen him on TV, often beating world champion and regular opponent Willie Mosconi. But it's hard to say if Fats is best known for his skill or his style.
I ain't used to the applause. Every time I ever win the last 80 years, they give me a little cash.
Fats lives in a hotel suite in Nashville where he shows off his one-of-a-kind technique.
Ain't nobody living gonna beat me if I don't want him to beat me. See, I can really play. I can play whenever I want to and on any kind of equipment. I wouldn't care if the pool table had humps in it or no rails. I never was a hustler. See, a hustler is a guy that tries to make proposition. Me, I always played a top-notch player. Anything he wanted to play, that's not hustling. They're talking about hustling. Go to them department stores and and legitimate people is the hustlers. Yeah, you go in an Elks Club or somewhere with a friend of yours and he knows that you can't beat him and tell you want to play one for, otherwise he'd play you for fun. So you want, let's play a couple games of rotation for kicks or this. But he said to you, hey, you want a better fin? He knows he can beat you. He's hustling you. See, I never asked nobody for odds or nothing in my life. All I ever done was played. I do everything automatic. I was a genius when I was 8 years old. They called me double smart, not fat and nothing else. And then when I was 13, they called me triple smart. And I was around with the smartest people the world has ever known in New York. The Smart Henny, that's why they called him Smart Henny. He was the smartest man on earth until I captured him. It's that ball, that's amazing. That is amazing. I should have been on the rail to start with. I'm a shade over everybody living, like Mosconi, one of the greatest players in the world. I could improve his game like 3 or 4%. You couldn't improve it much more, but he's tremendous. See, Mosconi's long suit is straight pool. He can play anything, but straight pool is as my long suit is anything. See, there's a big difference. You understand? Like if you was the greatest gin player in the world, what are you going to do where they don't play gin?
Fats even loved eating contests, and he didn't lose those either.
I could eat. I could really eat. In fact, I've had matches, like not big money matches or nothing, but things came up in clubs and everything where they had a fantastic eater, you know, and everything. Nobody ever beat me eating. To tell them, you know, it's a pork and bean fiend or a banana fiend. I don't eat. I eat groceries. You know, I eat chicken or turkey. I don't want to eat no donuts or no graham crackers or something like that, you know. There was a guy eating nothing but figs. He used to walk around New York in the olden days. Junkie Whitey was his name. He was a junkie for figs. He used to have figs. They used to sell them in rings on the stands on Broadway, or you could buy a sack or a couple. See, and he used to buy a ring, put one here, and one to be eaten on. You know, unbelievable. You know, see. Characters like you never saw. So I was born and raised in New York. Broadway was my beat, and you'd see every kind of living creature on earth. Funny. See, when you shoot real easy on this, is a brand new table rolls off. And you gotta see, now me, if I wasn't doing this, I would lock that up by hitting it like that. See, I wouldn't shoot it. When I play for money, I gain 15, 20. Then I really play. When I'm playing for fun, see, them people don't know what to do. If you're playing the governor or the president of the United States, you're going to let them stand there like a dummy? You understand what I'm talking about? You even let them beat you, you're amazed. I played 9 jillion people that can't play or hold a cue. I don't ever try to beat them. I hang balls. When I play a child, like in the Special Olympics, Can't hold a cue. How's he going to win? Because did he beat you? An imbecile says, did he beat you? You understand? That's like saying a 3-year-old kid beat me playing claviage or something. You know? Did he beat you? He beat me, yeah, because I gave him the game. I ain't worried or scared about nothing, but I also don't abuse. If I see anything, I take a walk real quick. In my business, I can't go from town to town to town. They all want me back. Call anywhere on earth. Anywhere I ever been, they always want me back. You know why? Because I'm 100% pure. That's why.
My name is Richard Tyson. I was world trampoline champion in 1974 and 1976. I met Gaston about 15 years ago in Bois Colombes, in the gymnasium where I was training. I was also a trainer at that time. Gaston, who was then 15 years younger, came to me to learn trampoline jumping. Of course, at first, we were a little surprised and also a little worried seeing this gentleman who was 85, or at least more than 80 at that time. But he told us the story of his life, how he started flying the trapeze, and his participation in all kinds of other sports. We felt reassured. As soon as he stepped on the trampoline, we immediately saw his potential and his vitality.
Sa carrière de sportif dans un tas de sports différents. Ça nous a rassurés et puis dès qu'il est monté sur le trampoline, nous avons tout de suite compris quelle était ses possibilités.
He is 97 now and still trains with me doing somersaults.
Actuellement, il a 96 ans et il continue à s'entraîner au trampoline avec moi, à faire des sauts périlleux.
Each other how long ago?
1914.
So, and you were the same, about the same age?
I'm 10 months older than she. In first grade.
In first grade. In Chicago?
In Chicago.
Yes.
In a brand new Catholic school that was built in 1913.
And it was called St. Helens. Yeah, I was 7, she was 6.
And you've been friends for?
Since 1914.
So what's that? That's almost 80 years.
Yes.
What I was just figuring it out.
Yes.
For
It's going to
you.
be 80 years real soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
I told her you have to accept some things.
Why?
That's your destiny. That's why.
I am really having a problem because I've been so well all my life.
Well, thank God for that.
I do.
I told you, look for the future.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, not behind, in front. This is important in our lives, Wanda. We have to count each day that we have.
Yes.
Don't you know that? Golly, Wanda, you're an intelligent woman.
Thank you.
Very well. I told you that many times.
Okay.
And I think you should accept some things that are coming to us.
I just feel so inadequate. That's what bothers me. I was always so independent. I could do anything.
Yeah.
Anything,
that's
really.
what bothers you.
But I can't now.
Of course you can. So accept it.
Well, I'm trying. But I'm having a hell of a time, really.
You have to accept some things, Tom, Dart, Wanda, in life. It's, my
gosh, isn't it wonderful if we could all be the way we were when we were young? You know?
My buddy knows how to handle me.
She does.
Yes.
She does.
Well, that's because I love her. That's and I tell her. When she's wrong, I tell her.
Those of the moral majority and fundamentalist persuasion who are worried about showing a little bit of eros or sex on television, how do you feel about showing all this government violence? Do you think that's justified? Is that your morality? Is that what it boils down to? And you, Middle America, who applauded all this and given your 82% approval to all this, is this what you asked for? Is this your democracy? And you intellectuals who put up with it, congressmen, State Department officials, CIA workers, look at the wreckage you've made. Tens of thousands of Kurds perishing on mountainsides. Everybody knew that would happen. The Persian Gulf poisoned. Everybody knew that would happen. Oily snow falling on the Himalayas. That was prophesied before your attack. What have we done? And now how are we going to make up for it? Hasn't this been the end of the American century? Hasn't this been the termination of the great experiment in American democracy? Hasn't this been the flowering of Eisenhower's prophecy that we should beware of the military-industrial complex? Now it's the military-industrial petrochemical atomic energy complex, and it's almost unbeatable.
I think everybody would like to be remembered, in one way or another, leaving a mark, whatever that is, for better or for worse, I suppose, for want of a better word, immortality. It sounds pretentious and, presumptuous, too. And yet, everybody is here. This is goofy, too. This sounds almost, very corny. But I think, I don't know, after you die, you kind of hope something you did, maybe. This came out because it impact. It's important to leave an impact, is what you said. Yeah, of course it is. Otherwise, what's the point? I think the point is to delight in life. This sounds like a goddamn, this sounds like a Sunday morning philosophy, But when somebody stops him on the street, here's a great experience. A stranger says, Jesus Christ, I read that book working. I'll never again talk to a telephone operator that same way I did before. I'll never treat a waitress the same way, look at a truck driver the same way. He says, you changed the way I think about these people. But that's pretty good. I like that.